Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football for Chelsea against Manchester City in the Premier League. How are we all doing then? This is a big game, looking forward to it. Hope you are as well. Look, Manchester City need to win in the context of the Premier League. Chelsea need to win in the context of the Premier League. It's a big game. It is a big game. I've played the game and it's a big game. It is a big game and it's hard to see... It's hard to see a scenario where this game doesn't have a major impact on the team that doesn't win it, which maybe suggests it could be a draw, but that probably wouldn't be enough for either team either. So, yeah, very excited about this. Let me just put the tweet out. Join in the match chat. Good to have you all anyway. Really enjoyed the content on this channel this week so far, doing the little reactions and everything, and certainly think this is the game of the week. I do think that Chelsea probably have got the right man in charge, but I also think that it's a tough one, isn't it? It is a tough one. Right, let me get all set up here, which I am. Fantastic. Okay, we've got the Premier League table on our screen there. Stats Carousel needs to start spinning around like Kylie. Let's get that going as well. We're also sponsored by Surfshark, which I will talk to you about in a minute, but let's get this game started. Well, I can't start the game, but you know what I mean. Live. Okay, let's start spinning around. There we go. It's time to spin around. It's Kylie time. But as you can see, the team news, as it will start going round in a minute, the league table, I don't know why we've got the bottom part of the table. We don't need the bottom part of the table. There is absolutely nothing to do with the bottom part of the table this game at all. Right, let's go through it. The team as it is. So we've got Chelsea against Manchester City. Kepa in goal. Azpilicueta, Koulibaly, Thiago Silva, Cucurella, Zakaria, Kovacic, Ziyech, Pulisic, Sterling, Havertz. I mean, it's a decent Chelsea side, but I still don't think it looks very cohesive. Then you've got Ederson, Walker, Stones, Ake, Cancelo, De Bruyne, Rodri, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, Haaland, Foden. I can't see past the Manchester City win, to be honest. I need to ask this, but I put a bet on Haaland and De Bruyne to hit the woodwork. Do you think it's like they will? I need your expertise. I don't think they'll both hit the woodwork. As a Chelsea fan, it's annoying me hearing everyone's Potter out. What are your opinions on Potter? Says the Don. I've been quite consistent on my opinions on Potter, to be honest with you. I think that it's quite simple to say that Potter's situation is one that's going to take time, and it appears to me that football isn't always about time, but he's not had enough time. He's not had a pre-season at all, which is important to spend with your players. A pre-season sets the tone for the rest of the season. He's also not had a transfer window, which also allows you to bring in players that you want. So I think there is a lot of impatience around it. I get that. Chelsea are a big club, so it's absolutely fine to have some impatience because you want to do well. But logically, looking at it from the outside in, it's very easy for me to see that that patience is going to be a virtue here. He might. I can't say that that he's going to be successful. I can't do that. But I think that there is a major level of impatience which is unfair around Potter, which hopefully will change as time goes on. He's Ranić like last year, says Luke. He's got no pre-season and he's got no transfers. Blank says Tuchel's better. What I will say to Chelsea fans, and this ain't my football club, but the fact that you don't know this baffles me. Tuchel was better than Potter, right? Tuchel blew it himself. He came back with an attitude. He had an attitude with the players. He had an attitude with the owners. He didn't like the new owners. He didn't like the way the club was going, and he got himself sacked. What are Chelsea supposed to do? Most of the players wanted Tuchel to go. The club wanted him to go. He burnt his bridges himself. I don't get this whole they shouldn't have sacked Tuchel when Tuchel could have grinned and bared it and put up with it, and he didn't want to. Fair play, but I think that's ridiculous, really, to think that Tuchel was an option to stay. He wasn't. Evening, Mark. Did you see the Benfica coach discuss Chelsea saying they'd meet their release clause and then offer a lot less? Ed Woodward School of Transfer Negotiations, says Joshua Bowwater. Yeah, the only way they were going to get Enzo was by signing him off the release clause, which you can understand Benfica's position there. I mean, they only bought him in the summer, didn't they? Anyway, this time is about to start here. Predictions, Mark. I'm going to go Man City 3-1. I just don't think Chelsea are anywhere near. Nick, thank you very much for subscribing. I don't think Chelsea are anywhere near the levels they're going to need to be to go and beat someone like Man City. It's possible because we're living in the most competitive Premier League season for quite a while. Great match to watch on my birthday, says Daniel RDM. Timer hasn't started. I will sort that. Bang, bang. There we go. But yeah, it's an intriguing game and certainly one that I think Man City will win. But I just look at that Chelsea side. I look at it and I go, Kepa, long term, don't think he's the right goalkeeper. Azpilicueta had better days. Koulibaly and Thiago Silva, good centre backs, but can you build a future with that? No. Cucurella, all right, Cucurella's not too bad. But you look at that back five and you go, I'm not convinced about the keeper. The centre backs you can't build a future on, and Azpilicueta is the same. Midfield two, Zakaria and Kovacic. I like both players, but I don't feel that that's going to be Chelsea's future either. Ziyech's not the future. Sterling, for me, just seems like an odd buy, and it wasn't Potter's buy. Pulisic, good player. Havertz, I don't think he's going to be a striker. So over half of that Chelsea team, I just don't see a future with it. So asking me to say Potter out or, Chelsea are struggling, well, yeah, they are struggling. But it's not because of the manager. He's having to deal with yesterday's problems today, and he can't start working on tomorrow. So yeah, I fancy Chelsea to not win this, and I think there'll be a few more bad results for Chelsea this season before they start to stabilise. But, they're looking at Badiashile. I think Casido would be a good signing as well. But I expect Man City to do well today. Please do subscribe, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner to do it. I need to update the subscriber count because I know for a fact that is completely wrong. But good start here from Manchester City down the left-hand side. It's Aki, who's a centre-back, basically playing as a left-back at the moment. And we do expect, of course, Manchester City to dominate the possession. But you look at Brighton and the success that Brighton have had, and you look at Brighton and the success they had under Potter, it's something that Potter can do, but it's something that's going to take time. God, we're only 12 subscribers away from 871,000, so please do subscribe, bottom right-hand corner, and I might be able to change the number by a few. Bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. Let me just save that. Publish all. And take. I'm just going to gamble and say that we're going to hit 871k. Be a good birthday gift if Chelsea got a result here as a Toon fan, says Darren. Thank you very much. Well, Sterling's gone down injured already here. Maybe he just doesn't fancy it. Badiashile is done. I like Badiashile. He's a player that's been linked to Manchester United for a couple of years, and I do like him. I think he... I can't guarantee he's going to be a success, but in many ways he's quite similar to Potter. I think he's something to build around. Yeah, I do. But patience is going to be a key. And I think if you're a Chelsea fan, I know patience is maybe not what you want to hear, but probably the one time where you can afford to be patient. You're not going to win the league this year. It's unlikely you're going to get in top four this year. You never know what can happen in a cup. You're playing Man City on Sunday actually, but it's actually 4 or 5 months for Chelsea to actually try a few things out and plan for next season. Big shout out to Surfshark, by the way. They're sponsoring the show. They're next to me there. You can scan the QR code with your camera phone, or you can go through the link in the description. What is Surfshark? It's a virtual private network, and one of the best things I like about Surfshark is their data protection services, making sure my private messages, photos, videos, and other sensitive materials are protected. But my personal favourite feature of Surfshark, and the thing I think you'll be most interested in, is that you can change your location on Netflix or other location-specific based streaming services, so you can watch them from anywhere in the world. So if you're in Australia and you want to watch your Netflix from the UK, you can change your location to London and it thinks you're in London. You can use it across as many devices as you like, Surfshark, even if they're used at the same time. It's got other features like the alert, which will notify you if your personal information has been leaked online. But the best thing about this is because Surfshark are super nice, they're giving you, that's football viewers, 83% off and the first 3 months free when you use the code That's Football. That's right, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 3 months free. Yes, 3. Link is in the description. Surfshark, virtual private network. If you know what they are, check it out with Surfshark anyway. It's a really good one. If you don't know, give it a go. Very, very good. Sterling has lasted, big shout out to Surfshark. Sterling has lasted all of 5 minutes against his former club. Is that bad luck or is that just bottle job? Who knows? I don't know. But he's not been a very good signing for Chelsea. Has he? So Aubameyang comes on, but Sterling goes off. And, I mean, I'm not doubting that he's injured, but that's the sort of problems that Chelsea are struggling with this season, isn't it? No away kits, it's unusual, says Kenneth. Yep, light blue against blue. Rob, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. I don't think Sterling's a good fit for Chelsea. I don't know what that was all about. And that's on Tuchel. And I just, I think when I saw Chelsea signing Sterling, I thought, you know what? I think he is a good player and he's been a good player for Manchester City. But then I wouldn't want Sterling at United. Now, he wouldn't sign for United because of City. But imagine if he was coming in from, I don't know, Real Madrid or something. I wouldn't want Sterling at Man United. He lasted 5 minutes. I can't last 2, says Super. But Paula says he never gets injured, Sterling, and all of a sudden against his old team he's out after 5 minutes. But of course, Man City had a weird result at the weekend. A draw against Everton, who are shit. So Chelsea could be galvanised by that. Thanks, Renate. Well, Man City have definitely started off with the better intensity here. Intensity. See what I said there? I'll tell you what, De Bruyne, I know he's not, but he always looks like he's carrying a few pounds, doesn't he? Cucurella intercepts it. Who's a better CM, Rodri or Casemiro, says Job? Well, I would always go for Casemiro, and I would have gone for Casemiro at Real Madrid. But obviously, bias makes me want to go for him anyway as a Manchester United fan, but I would have gone for him anyway, even at Real Madrid. So I think he's a very, very good player, Rodri, but I prefer Casemiro. Raz says, Todd Bowley's playing the worst Football Manager save ever. All the signings seem random and not thought out. Opinions on the Spurs situation, says Sean. I think Spurs are just very inconsistent. You just don't know what you're going to get. They're Forrest Gump's box of chocolates, really. And do you think Chelsea will ever make it to top level, says XI? I mean, they've already been at the top level, mate. They've won the Champions League. They've won the Premier League. Don't really understand the question. Fun fact, Chelsea fired their club doctor and head physio with no replacement. Numerous injuries makes plenty of sense, says Max. Yeah, I don't think many Chelsea fans want to accept the situation. I think they think that because they've won titles before, they should be winning titles again. You've got completely different owners. You've got loads and loads of people who've left. You've had loads of injuries this year. You've sacked your manager who spent, he brought Aubameyang in, Koulibaly in, Fofana in, Cucurella in, and then you sack your manager. You've got a new manager in who really is going to take time. It's inevitable and hasn't had a transfer window yet. And yet some Chelsea fans seem to think that they should be challenging. I think you're almost at a point where you need to write this season off and plan for next. Nobody likes being patient, though. That's the problem. Even if you've got the right manager, I think if we had Ten Hag and we were losing games, it's difficult. You're going to get people saying, this, that, and the other. I know it's transition, but he's making loads of mistakes. That's what you're naturally going to get, and I get that. But as I say, as an outsider looking in, this Chelsea team is just not a team. It's it's got a lot of players, but it's got a lot of individuals. And where's Mason Mount? I presume he's injured as well. Spurs are as consistent as a rusty bike that's been left out in the rain for a year and trying to take it for the ride. Says Slow Sports News. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The benches, which I didn't speak to you about. So Chelsea's bench has got Jorginho, Aubameyang, who's come on, Bettinelli, Chalaba, Gallagher, Chukwuemeka, Humphreys, Hutchinson and Hall. So that bench is ridiculously average. Man City's bench, Calvin Phillips, Jack Grealish, Alvarez, Akanji, Mahrez, and then they've got Ortega, Gomez, Palmer and Lewis. So there's a big difference in what's on the bench as well. Thanks everyone who's tuning in though. I can only see a Man City winning this, but that doesn't mean it will happen. Score prediction for me, Nico. I've gone with a 3-1 win for Manchester City. Chelsea are just not cohesive at the moment. Blank says Chelsea will be a 5-year rebuild. I don't think it's going to take 5 years. Honestly, I don't. But I think the next 18 months, you either get on board with it and enjoy it, or you get stressed with it. And, I do think that what Chelsea have shown is that they're willing to spend. It is a bit haphazard, though. I do agree. I mean, if you look at last summer, we want Rafinha, we want this, we want that. You look at January, we want Mudryk, we want Enzo Fernandez. It is a bit all over the place. And you do wonder how much control the manager has on the signings, or is it, like you say, Todd Boehly and stuff like that. I don't think Boehly's a bad owner, by the way. I mean, he's not like an American owner in the sense of a Glazer who don't want to spend money. He's almost the opposite of that. He does want to spend money, but probably, doesn't want to spend, doesn't want to listen. I don't know. Enzo Fernandez at 120 million euros would have been overpriced as well, but I did expect Chelsea to buy it and gamble. It'd be a big gamble to buy him at that price, but he might be worth it. Jaden Sen, willing to spend but won't spend 120 million on one of the best midfielders in the world, but spent 80 million on Fofana. Andrew Paul says, where's your green screen, Mark? Looks naff at the moment. Lots of people really like it, mate. So, you know what that's for? It's to swivel on it. I'm not even going to bring the green screen back now because of Andrew. I mean, I have explained it will be back. I just can't be asked to... got so many things on at the moment. I haven't put it up in my new room, but I might just keep it now. It just makes it a bigger room for me. I can just get up and have a walk around. Mark likes it better than the green screen. I played the game. I'm on the Ben Foster show tomorrow. Football fill-ins on Friday tomorrow because it's FA Cup, isn't it, on Monday? FA Cup weekend, and we're not doing a football fill-in for the FA Cup. They said, will you do a football fill-in for the FA Cup? And I said, it's like asking Messi to play in the first round of the Europa League qualifiers. I ain't fucking doing it. Any exciting news for 2023, says Rich. I have got some exciting news for 2023, but I can't really reveal it at the moment, but I am very excited about it. Asterix says it's a terrible analogy. No, it's not. You're just thick. You're really thick. Like, asking me to do a football fill-in to assess the third round of the FA Cup, which is absolutely shit and I'm not interested in, is like asking Lionel Messi to play in Europa League qualifiers. He's better than that, and I'm better than the FA Cup third round. I won't even... If I went on an FA Cup third round review show, I wouldn't be able to tell you anything. I refuse to even watch the highlights. All I would go is, yeah, I put that on the internet and I saw they won 2-0. Don't know who scored. Don't know if they deserve to win or not. Anthony says that the recruitment department at Chelsea now feels miles different than under Abramovich. Shows what a quality football director can be. Yeah, you need to get a... hold on. Is Aubameyang in the box? Got loads of players around him. Shit cross. No Bentancur, Cooley, Ritchie for Spurs when healthy equals good, says Ash Hart. Spurs are unpredictable. I wouldn't rule them out of the top four, but I don't think they should get top four. Assad, will Haaland break the top scorer in the Premier League? Yes, because the team is completely... I don't know whether anyone watches my TUSFC career mode, but not that I've modelled it on Man City, but Goldbridge plays up front for that, and he scores a lot of goals. But we're not a one-man team. The team is just built around that. And I think Man City are built around Erling Haaland this year. There's just, he's the goal scorer. So he will score a lot of goals. Fred Flintstone says, I've got an operation tomorrow. Please wish me luck. Luck with your operation tomorrow, Fred. We're all thinking, what is it? Let's be honest. But good luck with it. Oh! Tell you what. Good tackle by John Stones. But I'm a bit confused as to why the tackle didn't go in from the other Manchester City player. Let's have a look at this back here. I think it's Cancelo who leaves it for John Stones, and definitely got the ball first. Yeah, good tackle. Great tackle by Pebbles, says Jude. Do you think Liverpool will get top four without Van Dijk? How long's he out for? I mean, I can't... I've always said I think Liverpool will get top four, but it looks to me like they're going to get the thing that I think everyone's got to be careful of, and that's injuries after a very hard season. Apparently 6 weeks for Van Dijk. Well, he's not out for the season then, is he? He'll be back. I don't know. There's going to be a lot of teams who've got that. A lot of teams have got that. Pulisic has gone down for Chelsea here. Not for the first time. Not for the second time. Probably not for the 6th time. But yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it, to convey how anybody's going to do well this season, because I think there's going to be a lot of injuries, and Liverpool are and have had this happen before. What people don't remember is that Liverpool had, could have done a quadruple last year. They lost the Champions League final, they lost the Premier League on the final day of the season, and they won the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. So they had, I think Liverpool played every game that was mathematically possible for them last year. They got the final of every cup tournament and played every Premier League game, of course. So they might be having a bit of burnout this year, because it felt like a short summer as well. So maybe Liverpool are having that season under Klopp where the intensity drops. There's David Fofana, joins Chelsea from Mulder. I forgot they brought him as well. That Fofana from Mulder does look quite good. So cheap, it won't matter if it doesn't work anyway, but he looks potentially okay. Good cross to the back post. No, it's not. Shit cross. 20 minutes gone. Never watched him, Mark says JX. No, I haven't really watched him of any depth, but I'd heard a lot about him. United had been linked to him for about 6 months. Not dissimilar goal scoring record to what Haaland had at Mulder, but I think for 10 million quid it's worth a punt. I wish Man United did stuff like that. I'm not going to say that he's it's impossible to say he's going to be a success, but for that price it doesn't really matter. Nice jersey, Mark. Feeling okay tonight, says Colin. Yeah. Thursday night, we're approaching the weekend. Man United are playing tomorrow night, Friday night football. So, yeah, Chelsea just don't create much, do they? They definitely don't play like a Potter team as well, you know. Which is very hard to get them to do that, you know, without a pre-season. But United is on the telly tomorrow night. FA Cup game tomorrow. FA Cup weekend. What's happened to Chelsea, Nathan? Transition. Happens to every team. Look at Arsenal. You know, you do have a transition. I think that... Nice ball by Kovacic there. What happened to Twitch today, Mark, says Sean? I ran out of time, mate. I had to make a choice, so I couldn't do it. I'll be back tomorrow. But Chelsea defending quite well at the moment. I'll take the positives. Make sure you subscribe, by the way, bottom right-hand corner. Mark, I think you should do a watch-along on Oxford versus Arsenal at 8 p.m. Don't tell me that's... Let me have a look at this. Let me have a look at this. Oh, have Arsenal got fucked again? Let me have a look. No, they haven't. Liverpool have been screwed. Liverpool have got to play Wolves at 8 o'clock on Saturday night. Unlucky. And I don't know when are Arsenal playing then? Man City Chelsea at 4:30 on Sunday. I might do that as an FA Cup game. That's at the Etihad. Liverpool play Wolves at 8 o'clock on Saturday. I don't know when this Arsenal game is. Arsenal. Can't find the Arsenal game. Someone in the chat's going to tell me. Monday. Oh, Monday night football. Oh yeah, Oxford Arsenal Monday night. So when's the draw after that? United are playing Tuesday night in the Carabao Cup. Monday night is the draw, yeah. Koulibaly's just doing his boots up. What do you think about these really long contracts Chelsea are putting people on? Badashil signed for 7.5 years. Bryce, I'd put it to the chat on this and say, what's that all about? Why do that? I mean, it's brilliant for the player. But, you know, Phil Jones would love that. 7 years just sat on the physio's table. But we gave Harry Maguire a 6+1, which was thick. It's one of the thickest deals I've ever seen. That is probably up there with, and we should play this game. What's the worst ever contract handed out? Now, don't blame the player. Don't blame the game. But what is the worst ever contract handed out? Because that Man United have done a few. The 80 million for Harry Maguire was ridiculous. But we compounded it by giving him 200 grand a week, also ridiculous. Cross it! Chelsea are in the box. Lays it back. Good block. Stones again. No, it wasn't Stones. It was Bernardo Silva. Still in the box. ZX, save with the feet. Good efforts by Chelsea there. Yeah, we gave Harry Maguire £80 million for Leicester, 200 grand a week, and then we put him on a 6-year contract with a +1. I don't know who we thought we were buying. I think we thought we were buying Prime Maldini or something, or Sergio Ramos. 6 years for Harry Maguire. I think he was 26 at the time. Oh, you're definite. You know what, Harry? We need you on a 6+1 because you're definitely the sort of profile of player that when you hit 30, you're going to get even quicker. I mean, I'm not blaming Maguire. Don't blame the game, but blame the shite negotiators at Manchester United. I mean, I think Harry Maguire was 26 when we bought him. What sort of idiot goes, there's a 6-year contract +1? Because when you hit 30, you're not really going to slow down, are you, and get even slower? You're going to get better. What did we think we were doing? Alan Pardew's managerial contract, Hayden, was very big, wasn't it? Alexis Sanchez was a terrible deal as well, Mattis, yeah. Best paid player in Premier League history at that time as well. For a 29-year-old injury-prone player. Tell you what, Chelsea might have a chance here. Man City are looking a bit sluggish. David Moyes, 6 years. Oh, God, Stephen Willox. That's Man United again. We're dominating the worst contracts ever here. Will you be doing a Super Bowl watch-along, Mark? I will. I can't wait, Otis. I love doing my Super Bowl watch-along. Hopefully I'll get a load of American sweets sent through to me again as well. I've got a better setup this year as well. More space. I can just chill out. Love it. Can't wait. Yeah, I do like American football, and I get really into it when the playoffs hit, which is next weekend. Hopefully the Bills are going to win it this year. A couple of my mates, actually, I haven't been for the last few years, but they go to a pub in Birmingham, which loads of American football fans go to, and they watch it until the early hours. I bet there's loads of places like that. Early exit for Pulisic, just not meant to be, says Michael. Yeah, so Chelsea have had to sub 2 players in the first 25 minutes. Sterling and Pulisic. Of course, they've already got a load more injuries. So, again, I repeat, you've got to be patient here because Potter's getting shitloads of bad luck. Pepe to Arsenal, 150k a week for 5 years. Alan Pardew at Newcastle, says Fraser Scott. That was Tom Evans talking about Pepe. Man United are just terrible at contracts. I mean, I'll give you another example. I don't want these players to flop. Like I say, don't blame the player. But Jadon Sancho, I think he was on less than 150 grand a week at Dortmund, maybe less than 100 grand a week, and we gave him 300. You know, my mind baffles as to why you need to negotiate for such big wages for a player no one else is negotiating for. Anthony was on 20 grand a week at Ajax. He's now on 200 grand a week. Why would you give him a tenfold pay increase? No one else wanted him. We're just a very weird football club. You know, many a time you think, is there some sort of money laundering going on? Because when there's no competition for the player, why do you end up massively giving them super wages? Did you see the NFL injury CPR for Damon Hamlin? I did. I don't know what... I presume he's on the mend, Harry, because that was just... It was unfortunate. He took a major impact to the chest, didn't he? Was it Bengals against Bills? Monday Night Football. I don't know what they're doing about that. What are they going to do about that? Are they going to replay it? Or are they just going to hand a draw out? I don't know. For real, Man United's negotiators are a joke. They go to work in the morning with oversized boots, silly hair, and clown makeup on. Claydon says the Badiashile deal smells like Bakayoko. Chelsea with the cross headed away by Haaland. I got to say, Badiashile is a player I know quite a bit about because United have been linked to him for probably about 3 years. I'm not going to say I want him to come to Manchester United. That's not what I'm saying. But he was a player that we were linked to for quite a while. So I knew quite a bit about him. Left-footed, strong, quick. You know, you can't guarantee he's going to be a success, but it could be a clever move. The worst deal for Chelsea was that Fofana one from Leicester. I mean, what they were thinking about there. Mark, this season has been so weird, says Funky. Most of the big teams are inconsistent. What's going on? Surprised Murta hasn't tried Aubameyang yet, says Liam Morris. Give him time. Give him time. Fofana. Chelsea. Injury. So, what did Chelsea pay for Fofana? Was it about 80 million? So, I can do this in a few seconds, and for some reason, Chelsea didn't think about it. It's very obvious, right? It's very obvious there's a problem with Fofana. It's very obvious he's a very good player, and at 22, you hope you're buying a really good player, right? But it took me 5 seconds to basically realise that you probably shouldn't spend £80 million on him, okay? Twice in 4 months in the 2019-2020 season, he had a knee injury. Twice in the season 2019-2020, and he missed a total 12 games. Twice in the 2021 injury season, he had 2 knee injuries. So for 2 years in a row, he's had 2 knee injuries, right? He also had a thigh muscle strain, which kept him out for a month. Last season, 21-22, he had a fibula fracture, which was horrific, and kept him out for 41 games. And twice at Chelsea, he's had a knee injury. I mean, football's such a simple game. Such a simple game. Don't ever put yourself down as a football fan for having an opinion, if you think it's a valid opinion. Because Fofana cost Chelsea 80 million, and 3 times in the last 4 seasons, he's had 2 knee injuries. 3 times. 2 knee injuries one season, 2 knee injuries the next season, and then 2 knee injuries this season. I'm not talking about his broken leg. I'm talking about the knee issues. The broken leg was just horrific tackle. That could happen to anyone. Look at what happened to Donny the other day. But the knee problem, how has that not been picked up in a medical? Or it has been picked up in a medical and they've just gone recklessly spending 80 million quid. If City plays like this against Man United, I honestly think 3 points is quite realistic. Chelsea weren't this good against United. Nevertheless, anything can happen in one game, says Billy Jones. Yeah, Man City just don't look very good at the moment. They don't. And Arda Turan 5-year contract at Barcelona was a bad one, says Connor. Cucurella, I like Cucurella, but it's not working very well. I don't know what's wrong with Mount, Oscar. If anyone knows in the chat, let us know. But you know what? I think teams get desperate and do desperate things. When did Chelsea sign Fofana? Right at the end of the transfer window. And Leicester have done it again. I'll tell you what, I'm sending a warning out to the Premier League. FaZe or FAS will be the next one. Leicester have done it twice. They mugged United off for 80 million for Maguire, and they've mugged Chelsea off for Fofana. Name says that... No, sorry. Lee says that Mason Mount's getting found out is the new Dele Alli. I like Mason Mount, and that's completely disrespectful. Dele Alli is a player that has no focus. I think Mason Mount's got focus. He's just, probably just going through a bit of a bad patch. Chelsea on the break here with Zakaria. Good cover tackle by Rodri. Which was worse, Di Maria or Sanchez, says Tom? I think Sanchez. Di Maria would be disliked more, but I think he did more in a United shirt. So we've had 33 minutes here. Bit of a dull game, really. Let's have a look at the stats. Let's have a look at the stats here. So we've had 50-50 possession, 3 shots for Chelsea, none for Man City, none on target, no corners. It's a shit performance from Man City, this. What's going on? What's wrong with Man City? Draw would be a good result for Arsenal, wouldn't it? Daley Blind to Bayern Munich's really interesting. I don't really know enough about it. Oh, Aubameyang made a really good run there and Havertz just ignored it. Don't really know what that's all about. He left Ajax on a free and then Bayern Munich take him on a free. And you just wonder why Ajax have let him go. Nemanja says, talking about bad contracts and bad transfer moves, do you think this no-money transfer window will teach United to spend more carefully? Well, it should do, Nemanja, but they need to sack people to do that. I think Chelsea and Potter have been very unlucky. I mean, I don't care if I'm in the minority or not. No pre-season, no summer transfer window, loads of injuries, loads of players that were bought in the summer that he wouldn't have bought. You know, it's a mishmash of players that he's trying to get a tune out of. Here's Ziyech. But I tell you what, I don't know whether you can put it down to Chelsea's performance or Man City have been really poor. Have Chelsea got a director of football? I think they need one. Come on, I'm right next to the server. Phone's gone shite. Do you think we will be rid of the Glazers by the spring? Went to Old Trafford recently and was shocked by the level of neglect, says Pure Driving. Well, that's the plan. And Squid says, in your opinion, who was the most valuable player for England's squad in the 2022 World Cup? Bellingham. And is Koulibaly a downgrade on Rudiger, says DA Sports. I do like Koulibaly, but I think Rudiger was, you know, it's like, I'm trying to think of an example, but just because somebody's better doesn't mean it fits better. And some people might say Rudiger's better than Koulibaly anyway, but I just think Rudiger fitted Chelsea better than Koulibaly. Here's Haaland. Oh, one sniff, that's all it takes. I thought he'd scored there. Look at the movement. Off he goes. Koulibaly gives him the space and he just can't get near him. Lovely first touch by Haaland, and look at that. He's off on his runs. One touch. He'd have fancied to score that one. He'd have fancied scoring that. Half a chance maybe, but probably should have scored. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right hand corner. We're on the road to 872k. That's football. You're all welcome on here. Doesn't matter who you support. So get involved with the channel. Loads of content. Even this week I've done videos on Arsenal under pressure, Liverpool in crisis. Basically just talking about everything that's going on in the football world. So please do subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. We're about 8 minutes away from half time here. Still 0-0. What's the best result for us? Chelsea win or City? Says Eric. I'd say a draw is probably good for Man United. Let's have a look at the league. I mean, Chelsea are miles off, aren't they? Chelsea have got 26 points and Man United have got 35. So we're 11 points ahead of Chelsea. But a draw would put us only 2 points behind Man City. I mean, you could almost say Chelsea win, doesn't really matter. City look like the fatigue is already creeping in, says Tumbleweed. Yeah, a lot of people saying Chelsea win might be a better result. Chelsea aren't catching United. Here's De Bruyne. Cucurella, good tackle. This is a very competitive season. It's a very tiring season. You can't be playing catch-up. You can't be playing catch-up. Relegation battle looks interesting, though. Southampton, I think, are gone. Bournemouth are gone. So it's not that interesting. Only one more. I just wonder with City whether they've not down tools, but you know, some of Pep's comments have been a bit negative, and there's no need to be negative. They're still well in. I mean, they could still win a quadruple, but I don't think they will. But they seem to be lacking belief. There's Chilwell and Reece James behind him. Look. Chilwell's always injured. 83% win percentage with them. Reece James is brilliant. I like Reece James. For me, I think Reece James is probably my starting right back for England if everybody's fit. Here's Chelsea on the attack. Bad cross. Second ball. No. Here's De Bruyne. Terrible pass. They're way off City tonight. I don't know what's wrong with them. Chelsea been the better side. No doubts. Riley, thanks for the super chat. Please do subscribe, by the way. Bottom right hand corner. Ziyech with the cross straight into the arms of Ederson. Dino says City look knackered, but they haven't played since the weekend. Tim Collins says, I don't think the Chelsea players respect Potter. They know they love Potter. I mean, I know that for a fact. The Chelsea players really like Potter. Their problem is not respecting the manager. Their problem is that everybody with a brain knows that they're going through a transition that they can't solve mid-season. Potter needs more time with the players to work his system, and he needs more players that suit his system. So they're just having to sort of make do, and that's why they're inconsistent. Man City's missing a loyal fan base, says Joshua. I think they're looking to buy one, though. They've been looking on eBay for ages. Another overhit pass by Man City there. Although I think Foden kept it in. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Football Talk says Foden and Kevin De Bruyne have been really poor this game. I think there was a handball in that build-up, but obviously they didn't score, so there's no need to review it. Mark, is Man City not sharp, or is Chelsea disrupting them, says DC. Probably a combination of the two. I mean, this is not... I didn't see the Man City Everton game, but I was stunned by the result. This is not... this is one of the worst games I've seen Man City play in a very long time. They look decidedly average. I'll tell you what, if Havertz could play a quicker ball, Chelsea would be a lot better. Good shot! It's the post! Is it the post? Unlucky, lad. Now De Bruyne breaks away. 3v3. Good tackle, Koulibaly. Picks it up again, though. De Bruyne is going to shoot. Straight at the keeper. Chelsea at the post with, I can't pronounce his name, used to play for Villa, Chukwuemeka. And Mark, would you prefer to be a player in the last 5 team in the Prem, or in a top 10 team in Italy or Germany, says Niven? I'd rather be in the Prem, mate. Chelsea defending very well, says Ossian. Chukwuemeka, I'm going to call him. I don't know whether that's right. What do you think about Kane? Is he overrated, says Shaheen? Now, Harry Kane's a world-class striker. I'll have this argument with anybody. World-class striker, but... the question is, would you spend £70 million on him in the summer when he's 30? Because that's what United are thinking about doing. City look like they might be coming alive a bit here. Cancelo does well. Oh, good block by Koulibaly's having a good game here. Right, Man City look like they're coming alive a bit here. But this is better. Although Chelsea should be winning. They hit the post. Cancelo. Who do you think we're most likely to beat, City or Arsenal? Says Lewell. I think every game is different. I mean, you know, it would be wrong of me to say that United are going to beat City and Arsenal, but it'd be wrong of somebody to say that we'll lose both games. I think it's a very competitive league. Can Newcastle win any trophies? Says Raven. I think the trophy that that City would like is the one that Arsenal invented a few years ago. It's called Top 4. Raz says, are City a better footballing team without Haaland? Probably. Yeah, probably. They play a different way with Erling Haaland in their team. You know, Erling Haaland is not Jesus. He's not even Aguero. He's not got a low centre of gravity. You know, he's not about intricate little 1-2s and everything. He's a target man. He's powerful. He's quick. He's a goal scorer. And Man City have to play in a different way. I'm actually surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Man City didn't win the league this year, because I think I said it at the start of the season. Go back and check. I thought that Man City were going to be going through transition this year. A lot of people thought Haaland means they're just going to be even better and run away from it. But I think, again, I think Man City are going through transition themselves, and that transition is getting used to having a striker like Erling Haaland. I mean, he's going to break records. It's not a bad thing to have to get used to, but I do think sometimes Man City play a different way. But they've adapted to him quite well. Williams says Pep needs to adapt to him. I think they have adapted to him quite well, because they do put a lot of crosses in. Do you think Pickford would fit well with the Man United squad? Says Squid. I can't stand Pickford. I don't want him anywhere near Man United. Best mates with Maguire? Nope. They'll be begging each other to play. Be terrible. Half time. Thoughts on that half? We'll have a look at the stats in a minute. Personally, I think me trying to do some keep-ups live on air will be more entertaining than that half, and hopefully it can get better in the second half, because it's not lived up anywhere near to what we would have hoped from a game of this magnitude. City have... You can certainly see why Man City drew against Everton on this form. They've not played very well at all. Let's have a look at the stats then. City have had 54% possession. They sort of did come alive a bit in the last 15 minutes, because I remember looking at this at about 33 minutes in. Man City hadn't even had a shot on goal, and the possession was about 50-50. So the game did open up a bit in the last 10 minutes of the half. 5 shots for City, 1 on target. 4 shots for Chelsea, 1 on target. Pass completion rate for City is still around 89%, 85% for Chelsea. But there's an element of cancelling each other out. Of course there is. I think that's credit to Chelsea. They've done quite well. But I still feel that Man City would be disappointed with what they're doing there. And I agree with Atty that, Arsenal or Man United would quite fancy playing Man City at the moment, because I think they'd be able to give them a good game. I always say that, Arsenal are in a very good position in this league table, but I think if they played that game against Man City, if it hadn't have been postponed because Arsenal had to play PSV or whatever it was on the Thursday night, Arsenal could be in an even better position. Kane is the type of player I feel could go on for a good 6 or 7 years as has natural talent that doesn't rely on pace. I don't think he will, little Carl. I think he's had a lot of injuries that are going to hit him in his 30s. Do you think Liverpool would have won the league if City signed Ronaldo after seeing how they've done with Haaland? Says Ajit. Good theory. Good theory. Am Ajax under 15 and one day hope to play for United? Says Finn. Well, we hope to see you playing for Man United, mate. And Lee says, do you think City are too reliant on Haaland? I think there is... Look, I don't think you can ever say that Pep Guardiola is too reliant on a striker. But I do think that Man City's strength over the last few years has been the interchangeability of many players. You never really knew what his front three was going to be, whereas now you pretty much know if Haaland doesn't play, people have a panic attack. So they are very reliant on Haaland because he is pretty much, he's massively missed if he doesn't start. And maybe that's the transition I'm talking about with Man City, because they weren't ever really... I mean, Aguero was obviously very important to them, but Aguero would always be out for about 6 weeks every season. As a Liverpool fan, if Chelsea win, they'd be level on points, which just shows how poor we've been, really, says Jack. And hi, Mark. Who do you expect from Man City? What do you expect from Man City today? Says Stormtrooper. I expected a lot more, mate. I don't know what's going on with Chelsea, with Man City. Credit to Chelsea. 2 players going off in the first 25 minutes injured, Pulisic and Sterling. They've still retained organisation. I mean, they hit the post. They don't create much, Chelsea. I think that's been a problem all season. But organisation's a lot better. Defensively, they've been much better. And at the moment, you can see them getting something out of the game today. Ooh. Does the modern game undermine the role of a number 9, says DC? You know what I'm going to say. Erling Haaland is probably going to break the Premier League record. So how does it undermine the number 9 when he's probably going to break the record? Man City have been poor, D. I agree with that. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner to get involved. You're all welcome on That's Football. Get your questions in. Donny to be out for a full whole year. Good for him. And if Finn, I've just realised, Muzzy, thank you very much. So Finn, who plays for Ajax under 15s, thinks he's clever because when you put his name together, it's a rude thing. If City don't win... Do you think Arsenal are going to win the league? It's too long to... Mate, we're not even halfway through the league yet. We've still got 2 games until we're halfway through the league. We're not halfway through the league until the summer. Till the end of the month. So, Man United were 12 points off Newcastle. And Newcastle were going to win an amazing league title. So, things can change around very, very quickly. Van Dijk's got injured for Liverpool. Chelsea have had 2 injuries today. That's not going to be mutually exclusive to Chelsea and Liverpool. The teams in the top 4, Newcastle, Man United, Arsenal, Man City, they are going to get injuries. And, you can't declare that there's not a possibility that there might be a collapse by any team. I mean, look, I don't think this will happen, but, imagine if Arsenal, Man City and Man United have injury problems. Newcastle aren't in Europe, so that's a lot less games for them, and they didn't have many players going to the World Cup. Imagine if there's a major Man City, Man United, Arsenal collapse and Newcastle come through and win the league. Don't think it will happen, but you just don't know. Casemiro for Player of the Month, Mark, says Joseph. I hope so. Been fantastic. Don't forget, we're sponsored by Surfshark. If you don't know what Surfshark is, it's a virtual private network. Basically, if you're on holiday in Australia and you want to watch your UK Netflix, you can change your location and log in as if you're in London when you're in Australia. Protects your identity. You can get not 1, not 2, but 3 months free and 83% off your subscription. Subsequent to that, by scanning the QR code and using the code That's Football, or going through the link in the description. If you've tried a VPN before, check out Surfshark. Really, really good. If you haven't, give it a go. You can use it on multiple different devices at once, so you can have it on your phone, on your laptop. Give it a go. Surfshark, really good offer. Links in the description, or you can scan the QR code. Fantastic. Give them a go. Doesn't matter if you're you don't have to be in Australia to use Surfshark. You could be in India and want to log into your American Netflix and just say you're in New York. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be in Australia. I just use it as an example. Big shout out to them. Thanks, Surfshark. Scan the QR code with your camera phone. It'll work, or go through the link in the description. Cody Gakpo did his first training session today, says Rachel. Yeah, a few people have said, why didn't Gakpo play on Monday? But PSV don't play their first competitive game after the World Cup, since the World Cup, until tomorrow. So I don't think Gakpo was anywhere near match sharp. But I'm just watching some of the highlights of the first half here, and Chelsea, without doubt, have had the better moments. Man City need to step it up here if they want to get, back amongst this title race. Any prediction? Cooking with Goldbridge will be back. I already know. I've already got a couple of dishes of what I'm going to do. I just need to bloody get set up and do it. I love my channel, and I want to start doing some stuff on there. Man United are not going to get top 4, says Liam. Thanks for that. Podcast, yes, hopefully, Justin. I've got plenty of ideas for podcasts, but unfortunately, we're sort of locked in talks with people who want to have the podcast now. So, you know, if I had my way, I'd just start bloody doing it and put it up. But that's what she said. But no, we're in negotiations at the moment. Negotiations are protracted. Thoughts on Enzo Fernandez to Chelsea, says Daniel. It's not happening. That's my thoughts on that. Can Arsenal beat City? I don't know when you're playing them, mate. I'd like to know when you are playing them. Arsenal's next few fixtures are as follows. Tottenham, Oxford in the FA Cup on Monday. Then they've got Tottenham a week on Sunday in the league. Then they've got Man United on the week after in the league. Then they've got Everton away. Then they've got Brentford. They play Man City on Wednesday, the 15th of February. Why is it on a Wednesday? Why is it on a fucking Wednesday, eh? Arsenal on a Wednesday night against Manchester City. I don't know. Answers on a postcard for that. It's annoying when it's on a Wednesday night. Just ordered in a KFC. Can't wait to watch the second half now, says Ajay. Oh, I'd love a bit of KFC. Do you still believe in Martial, Mark? Says Ice. It's like you're asking me if I still believe in Santa Claus. I mean, do you still believe in Anthony Martial? No. I'm in my late 30s now. I don't believe in Martial. No, I do believe in Martial. I think he didn't go to the World Cup. I mean, there's a few players like this at the moment. I mean, maybe Man City are struggling with this, although a lot of their players did go to the World Cup. I still think it's a naive person who doesn't realise that everybody who went to the World Cup is playing better than the majority of the people who didn't go to the World Cup. Because if you didn't go to the World Cup, you stopped playing on November the 7th, and then you started playing again, you know, at the end of December. It's 5 or 6 weeks off with no competitive football or training. And I think Martial falls into that category of looking a bit sluggish. And it's probably because he didn't go to the World Cup. Can you say hello to Harry? Says Kaylee. There you go. Hello, Harry. Pep needs a defender that mainly plays left back, says Williams. I like Cancelo at left back, but they've got Kyle Walker playing at right centre back tonight, haven't they? It's a bit odd. Their formation is a bit odd. Mark, what happened to Anthony? Flop of the season so far. It's sweet. Bit too early for that. Bit too early. Make sure you subscribe, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. We're on the road to 872k. I think we could hit 1 million this year, which would be great for this channel. So get involved. I love doing That's Football. I love just chatting about general football. Obviously, Man United's my first love, but it can get quite stressful. So I like doing the general football stuff. So make sure you subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. I don't think Nunez is a flop, and I don't think Anthony is a flop. I think it's way too early to start saying stuff like that, in my opinion. Pep had the Baldi Angelino who plays at left back, and he sold him to Leipzig. Quite good as well, Mario. Well, everyone talks about what Liverpool and Man United are going to do if they get new owners, and obviously you've got Newcastle and Chelsea, but Man City will spend in the summer, so I wonder what Pep always does that. He always adds to his team, doesn't he? I mean, yeah, we all know about Haaland, but he spent 60 million on Calvin Phillips. I don't know. You know what? I do think Pep sometimes buys players and you know it's not going to work. I was massively intrigued by Grealish because I couldn't see how it was going to work. And lo and behold, it hasn't worked. I was massively intrigued by Calvin Phillips and because I couldn't see how it was going to work. And lo and behold, it's not worked. I don't know whether it's just an English quota thing or something. But I don't think Nunez will flop. I think Nunez is a good player. You know, I've played the game. I've watched the game. And there's so much... If I was a manager, I'd love Nunez. I would. I'm not lying. If I was a manager, I'd love Nunez. Because I watch him. And he really is a manager's dream. He's a chance magnet. Yes, he needs to learn to put them in the back of the net. He never stops running. He's strong. His link-up plays, you know, getting better. He can dribble. He can create. I think he's got all the raw assets, but I'll say this again about Nunez. Liverpool bought him a season early because they had to. because Man United was sniffing around. If Liverpool had said, we're not going to buy you for another year, they wouldn't have got him. Like, there was clubs who wanted to get him. But I actually think another year at Benfica and he would be a better player to come to the Premier League. But Liverpool had to act. He had to act. And I don't think he's quite the finished article yet. But I think he'll end up being a really good player. The thing is, people compare him to Erling Haaland, who's a different type of striker and is an absolute goal machine. But I think Nunez is... I'm old enough to remember Thierry Henry and Ruud van Nistelrooy playing for Man United and Arsenal, and people used to go, who's the better player? And deep down, I knew it was Thierry Henry because he's just a different talent. But Van Nistelrooy was bloody brilliant. And you could have a scenario like that. Newcastle fan here. Man United are on a fire right now. I see you guys pulling forwards of us by like 10 points and us fighting Liverpool for the 4th spot, says Eric. Depends what Newcastle's next few fixtures are, mate. You know, it could be a good time for Newcastle to pounce because Man United have got Man City and we've got Spurs to play. We've just had a very good run of fixtures. With all due respect, we've just had Bournemouth, Forest and Wolves. I'd expect us to take 9 points because I'd expect Newcastle to take 9 points. Double substitution for Man City here. Akanji's coming on. But Newcastle's next few fixtures are as follows. I mean, FA Cup, Sheffield Wednesday, Leicester in the Carabao Cup. But Premier League, you've got Fulham at home. You've got Crystal Palace away. You've got West Ham at home. You've got Bournemouth away. So, I'll tell you what. You go and get 10 points from your next 12. You ain't going anywhere, are you? Do I think Liverpool will finish top 4, says Midas? Well, I've got a few bets on the go. So, yeah. I'm not going to change my mind on that. But I don't think Newcastle are going to go anywhere. I mean, someone just said, what's the next fixture after that? So, Fulham, Crystal Palace, West Ham, Bournemouth. Then they've got Liverpool, but it's at home. Brighton at home. Then they go to City. Okay, you probably lose that, maybe. Then they've got Wolves at home. Then they've got Forest away. You'd expect them to, all right, you might lose to Man City, but you'd expect them to beat Wolves and Forest. Man United, but it's at home. Imagine the atmosphere for that. Let me just start this second half. Hello? If you know, you know. Come on. There we go. Yeah, then they've got Man United at home, but then they've got Brentford away, Villa away, Tottenham at home, Everton away, Newcastle, Southampton at home. The thing about Newcastle is it's very relentless, but they're not in Europe. So they're all winnable games. I agree for Newcastle, that Racing guy. But I tell you what Newcastle need to do, and I'll tell you this for free. In fact, I won't. You've all got to give me a £5. I'm going to turn it on to... Yeah, I'm not answering until I get a £5 off everyone. I'm joking. I'll tell you this for free. Newcastle need to buy in the January transfer window. Sounds ridiculous for the richest club in the world, but they do need to bring a couple of players in because where it will go wrong for Newcastle is injuries. Like, they need a bit of depth. And as name says, Newcastle's issue is when they play the smaller teams. So, yeah, they need to add a couple of players. I don't know whether anybody knows, but whether they're looking at players or not, but that's what they need to do. Good question here from Benji. He says, do you think that Odegaard is the best attacking midfielder in the league? No, De Bruyne is. I'm right. But, De Bruyne is a absolute stunning player, isn't he? So with regards to the substitutions that Man City made, Cancelo came off for Lewis and Walker came off for Akanji. So they've clearly adjusted the way that they're playing. And you know what? We can all acknowledge that Man City haven't played that well this half, but clearly Pep Guardiola knows that as well. Can City be on the top by the end of the month, says Daniel? We have to work hard to do it. I think the next 2 weeks are massive. Here's Haaland, wild shot wide. I think Man City are gonna have. I need to start the stats carousel. Don't forget Surfshark. Download it. Scan the QR code. Virtual private network. 3 months free to try it out with the code That's Football. Well worth a try. You'll really like it. Just going to start the stats carousel now. There it is. And actually, don't forget, our stats carousel is sponsored by OneFootball, the OneFootball app. Get all your latest breaking football news, transfer news, stats, all in one place on the OneFootball app. You can scan that QR code in the top right-hand corner if it works. Apparently it does. Or you can go download it through the link in the description. It's free on Apple, Android, OneFootball app. Fantastic. They sponsor our QR codes. Not our QR codes, our stats carousel. Thanks everyone who's tuning in tonight, by the way. Really loved being back doing the watch-alongs. I've got to say, the World Cup, I'm so glad it's gone. I found it so weird. I know a load of people loved it, and I'm glad you did. But for me, this is what it's all about. Premier League, Champions League, loads of games to do watch-alongs on over the next few months. Make sure you subscribe and get involved. Smutty's in the chat as well. But Man City looking to go on the front foot more here in the second half. They've got to win. Pep knows. Pep don't want to give up. What's your top 4 predictions, JG7? I don't like not giving you a definitive 4, but I do think Liverpool are going to be in the top 4 there. So who do I take out? I'm a bit like Ten Hag. I'm a realist. And I do think that at the moment, I'd still put United out of the top 4. And the reason is the same reason I said at the start of the season, and I've not changed my mind. I don't think we've got the squad to do what we're doing. We're in everything. We're in the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, the Europa League, the Premier League, top 4 race. And we don't have a lot of depth. And I watched United play against Bournemouth the other night. And, Varane and Martinez get a rest. You play Maguire and Lindelof, and if it wasn't for De Gea's world-class saves, we might have drawn that game, and Bournemouth aren't that good. So I just don't think we've got much rotation. That's my feeling. So at the moment, I'm still going to stick with my initial pre-season prediction that United would finish 5th. I'm hoping we get 4th. I think, on form, at the moment, you'd fancy us to get 4th, but I'd still say I don't think we'll get it at the moment. Seems like, I think the January transfer window is huge as well. I think the January transfer window will be massive. And I think the next couple of weeks in the Premier League is going to be massive as well. United play Man City and Arsenal. Arsenal play Man United and Spurs. There's some big games coming up. All around the league as well. Seems like yesterday you did Ecuador versus Qatar, says Tom. I'm glad it wasn't yesterday. Goal, post, crossbar, block. The post wasn't hit, it was just the crossbar from Akanji. Best chance of the game for Man City. Akanji on the back post. Man City have taken a quick corner. They've upped the tempo here. Whoa, pump it up a little more. Get the tempo going on the dance floor. They're going for it. Carl says, wasn't Mark supposed to be on TalkSport? Never on a Thursday night, mate. Never on a Thursday night. I was on TalkSport up until the World Cup, and then I got sacked. Breaking news. Slow Sports News. I'm Jim White of TalkSport. Goldbridge has been sacked for taking the piss out of me. I don't even like country nut cornflakes. And I don't drive an Audi. And I don't wear a yellow tie. So I've got him the sack because I run TalkSport. And I said to the producer, get that Goldbridge Pratt off the air. He's taking the piss out of me all the time. And I don't like it. He can go. Get rid of him. It's me or him. And it was me. But in the words of Elton John, it's no sacrifice. De Bruyne, good save by Kepa. They're pushing now. Yeah, so I got sacked because of my Jim White impression. Sacked Bridge. Gone too soon. I haven't really been sacked. I do a Saturday night Premier League call-in, and the World Cup's been on. And I didn't want to work New Year's Eve, and it's the FA Cup this week, so I'm back I'm back a week on Saturday at 7:30 till 9. It's been a long break, but I'm back a week on Saturday night. Looking forward to it as well. But I don't do the FA Cup. They said, will you do an FA Cup call-in? I said, do I look like I'm desperate? And they said, what do you mean? I said, things I'd rather do on a Saturday night than do a fucking FA Cup call-in. I'd rather paint my nails, never done that before. I'd rather wax my arse, never done that before. Yeah, things I don't want to do an FA Cup TalkSport call-in. So I'll just do the Premier League, thanks. And I'll do a transfer show, but I ain't doing no FA Cup. Nice ball into De Bruyne. Can he whip the cross in? No, he doesn't whip it in first time. He whips it in second time, and it's overhit. Lots of overhit crosses by Man City tonight. Have they painted the World Cup ball yellow? There's a conspiracy theory for you. I did see a can of yellow spray just before the game started. I think Chelsea are spraying these. I think Chelsea have bought. I think Todd Bowley has spent 20 million on buying all the World Cup balls, and he sprayed them yellow. Must be the ball in it, says Steam. So we've got 17,000 people watching. Legends. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. Oh, look at this. That's not the right subscriber numbers. That's right. You know what I watched last night? It's not what you think it is. It wasn't porn. I watched last night David Brent on the Road movie. I've only seen it once. I love The Office, and I watched it, and I've got to say, it's left me feeling a bit depressed all day. It's quite a depressing film. I mean, there's some funny bits in there, but it is just quite sad. I like the Alpha Popper film with Alan Partridge. I think that works really well, and I've watched it about 4 or 5 times. I love it. But the David Brent movie, I just find it quite depressing, really. Chelsea on the attack here with Havertz. Ziyech. Corner. Thanks for subscribing, Corey. I'm going to have a bit of a stand-up here. I'm feeling confident. There's a Chelsea corner. I'm feeling confident. That would have been hilarious then, because I have got my legs spread. If I'd have bounced that with the wrong angle, it would have gone straight up into my nuts. And that would have been game over. I did do it quite hard as well. Only takes a bit of backspin. No, be forward spin. Yeah, that could have been bad. Cross comes in from Chelsea, headed away by Haaland. Let's see what happens here. Back post. Oh, he's in the post again. Thiago Silva. He can't believe it. He's running around asking for something. I'm on my knees. I don't know what happened. Let's have a look. Cross comes in. They're queuing up on the back post. Fucking Havertz again. Oh, he wanted a corner. Havertz. He's rubbish. Rubbish. Ziyech. There is something crap about Havertz, isn't there? This game's coming alive now. See how many kick... I've got my slippers on. Proof. See how many I can do in a pair of slippers. Here we go. Not going to do many. Ooh, 40, 45. Not bad. Put your ball back. One day I'm going to do 100 in a pair of slippers. Okay. 48, somebody said. It's really hard in a small space. Mahrez is coming on. That was for Pele, that was. Can't do that with the green screen. Swivel on that, whoever misses it. This game's better in the second half. Here's Bernardo Silva. He's still in the box. Ballerbridge, Scuba Doo Pants, Joshua Bowwater and Guitar Boy. Thanks for subscribing. Chick says, Mark could have gone pro if it wasn't for his ACL. To be honest, I wish it was that glamorous. My biggest problem, many people will know this already. I mean, it's like a story from stand-up, which actually is ironic because I struggle to stand up. Lower back, that was the thing that finished me. You know, some people have ACL, knee problems, you know, ankle problems. What ended your football career? Lower back pain. It's the sort of thing that bloody, you know, stops you playing golf in your 70s. Not high level football. Lower back pain. Bernardo Silva gets past Cucurella. Into the box. De Bruyne takes a touch. Oh, I thought he'd scored. He hit it. And you know when no one touches it, not even the keeper, you think, oh, that's going to break the back of the net. And it definitely didn't. Did it go over? Did it go wide? It's going to go wide. Yeah, wide. Very wide. No, it wasn't from sitting. I didn't get a bag back from that. Bernardo Silva goes off. Riyad Mahrez comes on. I was about 18 years of age. I was playing a pre-season game. And we were playing against... it was a pub game. I don't know why I was playing. It was just wanted to play football. And some of the lads played for a pub team and said, do you want to come down and play? So I was like, yeah, sod it, I'll go and play. The pitch was like concrete. It was really hot weather. And picked it up in my own half. Gaza bridge. Skipped past a couple of players. And then the two centre-backs. There was a gap. I knocked it. I knew I had them for pace, but it was whether I had I basically knocked it between them and sprinted, but they had about 5 yards on me. And, you know, they just came in like that. And they just sandwiched me. And I went up in the... You know, like if you've got two pieces of bread and then you've got a hot dog plastered in ketchup and you squeeze it up, the hot dog will just fly up in the air. That's what happened to me. I went flying up in the air. They were big. I've always been quite slim. And they had a bit of weight. It was pub football. And they sandwiched me together. I went flying in the air and landed on my lower back. Oh, I can feel the pain now. I woke up the next day and I couldn't move my neck for about 4 days. And my mum says, you need to go to the doctors. I said, I'm going to Magaluf on Friday. If I go to the doctors, they'll probably put me in a neck strap. She said, well, you might paralyse yourself. I said, I don't care. I'm going to Magaluf. And... I spent about 3 days in bed, couldn't move my neck. I was literally like this all the time. By the end of the week, with a load of painkillers, I was able to just about move it like that. And you should have seen me on the dance floor. And about halfway into the holiday in Magaluf, I started to feel a lot better. Went on a banana boat, was showing off, and looked behind me, and there's only two of us left on the banana boat, me and this girl. And she goes flying off, but the angle of the boat, she closes the gap between me and her knee goes smack into the middle of my back and knocks me off. And did the same again. I was only 18. And I had the back of a 90-year-old. I've always struggled with it ever since. This is a good game in the second half. It's a good game. What were your strengths on the pitch? Were you relatively quick, says Dylan? No. I think actually up until my back injury, I was a lot quicker. But I remember speaking to a physio about it, and I said, I'm so slow now. And he says, it will be because of your back. You know, your back is... You get a lot of your power from your back. Can you call my brother Andy a Pratt? It's his birthday and he loves your channel, says Mike. Happy birthday to Pratt. I mean, Mike. Mike, you're a Pratt. Same thing. like from the age of about 12 to 18, I always had a good burst of pace over 2 yards. I used to like running at people. And then after I did my back, I stopped being an attacking player and became a more defensive player, like CDM. Focused on my passing, positional sense. Always liked to tackle. It changed me. It changed me. This game could go either way, you know. Both teams are... I think Chelsea with the home advantage, they're starting to believe. Here's Mahrez. De Bruyne. Grealish is on. Good cross! Oh, what a goal! What a goal by the subs. What a cross by Grealish that is. I didn't even know he was on the pitch. That is magnificent. What a cross by Grealish. You can't argue with that. And it's Mahrez on the back post. That was magnificent. Absolutely magnificent. 1-0 to Manchester City. And I didn't even know he was on the pitch, Grealish. When did he come on? Count the players. I think they might have 12 on the pitch. Must have come on for Foden. Mahrez came on for Bernardo Silva. They made 2 subs at half-time. Didn't know Grealish was on the pitch. What a cross. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, he did come on for Foden. Foden's not there anymore. Starts off with Mahrez. Gundogan. De Bruyne. Lovely weight of pass. Grealish's cross is fantastic. I think the keeper's got to do better there, hasn't he? That's in the keeper's area, isn't it? It's a good cross, but why has he not jumped on it? That's bad keeping, I'm sorry. Keeper's bottled that. Chelsea fans, he's got to do something about that. That's not the defender's fault. Mark, where do you think Bellingham will go? Whoops, I think he needs to come to the Prem. But I think he might go Real Madrid. Rank Saka, Rashford, Sterling, Foden, says Marketing James. I'll let the chat get involved in that. So rank Saka, Rashford, Sterling, Foden. I'll have a think about that. Rank Saka, Sterling, Rashford. Well, I put Sterling bottom. I really do like Foden. And I think they're very different players. And Rashford and Saka play on different wings. But on who I would want... I'd probably go Sterling, Foden, Saka, Rashford, because I'm going to be biased. Hi Mark, I'm currently struggling with a neck issue that's really difficult to deal with at the moment. Just would like to say how much the Manchester United stand makes my day and keeps me strong. Stay strong, Uga. Thank you very much for your super chat, and rest up, mate. I know neck pain's horrible. Neck pain is so makes you so tired, affects your mood. So yeah, I can feel your pain, mate. Not literally, my neck's fine, but you know I've had it in the past, and rest up. Alter Ego says, and they say Grealish is a flop. Well, I think in a sense he is. I mean, £100 million to put a cross in against Chelsea, it's not really what you expect. But he's a good player, but he should be starting every week. And but look, there's a lot of people who'll be saying Potter out. Let them do it, idiots. This game's been won by squad depth. You know, they can bring Mahrez and Grealish off, and Chelsea have got an injury crisis. Simple as that. But there's plenty of time left. I mean, who have they brought on? City, Grealish, Mahrez. This is what I mean. Chelsea are falling victim of what we're all fingers crossed hoping our team won't fall victim to. Just a massive injuries in the second half of the season. And I'm sure there's many an Arsenal fan thinking exactly the same. Chelsea probably don't deserve to be losing this game, but now that Man City are ahead, it doesn't play into Chelsea's game plan. Chelsea's game plan has been to be well organised and, you know, almost counter against Man City. And there's nothing wrong with counter-attacking against Man City when you're the home team. But now that Man City have scored, I think it makes it difficult, doesn't it? Yeah, it makes it difficult for them. So it could be a big win for Manchester City here. That's how the league table looks at the moment, in fact. So Man City would go 7 points. Still 7 points behind Arsenal, even with the win. Which shows you why it's such a massive game for them to win. 7 points is still a lot, isn't it? But of course, that's what it was before last weekend. Arsenal won, City drew. This week, Arsenal draw. Can Man City win? Zane says, Saka, no debate. Better dribbler, works harder and better at his age than your player when he was at that age. Saka can change games. Apparently it's 5 points now. Well, why is this is meant to be this is meant to be as it stands table. As it stands, my arse. What's going on? What's going on? Cross in from Chelsea. I feel like Chelsea do deserve something from this game, you know. There we go. 5 points now. It's updated. 5 point gap. Lovely stuff. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right hand corner, we've got 18,000 watching. You're all very welcome on the channel. Get involved with Nats football. Don't matter who you support. Big win for Man City at the moment as things stand. Chelsea unfortunate, but still 20 minutes to go. I mean, you've got to feel for Chelsea and Potter. He's had no pre-season. He's had no transfers yet. He's had loads of injuries. They're 10th in the league. Zane says that Saka's world-class, Rashford's not. We've really upset him with that, haven't we? I mean, looking at the Chelsea situation, they've got 25 points. A couple of wins, you can get yourself up to 6th, but it's not easy, bruv. What are Chelsea's next few fixtures, Mark? I can tell you now. Their next few fixtures look like this. They look like this. They've got Man City in the FA Cup on the weekend at the Etihad. So they could be out of both domestic cups by Sunday night. Fulham away on Thursday. Big game that. Chelsea-Fulham, very close to each other. The posh London derby. Then they've got Palace at home, tough again, London derby. Then they've got Liverpool. They've got Liverpool away after that. Yeah, February looks a bit better. Chelsea got Fulham at home, West Ham away, Southampton at home, and then they finish off with Spurs. They've got. You know what? They need a good January transfer window, and they need things to start clicking, and they need some of their injured players back. I think if they can get their injured players back and they can, you know, get a good couple of signings in the January transfer window, then they might be better. But I tell you what, Chelsea need more than anything. They need a bloody goal scorer. Havertz is a joke, and not a very funny joke. You know, he doesn't see passes. He doesn't attack the ball. He takes a touch when he shouldn't do. Chelsea, a lot of what Chelsea does breaks down through Havertz. He's just not at the races. He was crap in the World Cup as well. Plays too deep, says Daniel. They also need a goalkeeper. Well, I don't care what anybody says. Kepa could have done a lot better on that goal. That cross is a horrible cross to defend for the defenders. Oh, it should have been 2 again. I mean, again, Kepa. I tell you what, there's a weakness to Kepa. Put the ball on the floor in front of him and he's allergic. Watch this again. Lovely ball into De Bruyne. The cross. And again, Kepa's got to be going for that. He doesn't want to go near it. But as a defender, you'd be absolutely bollocking him. Look at him moving his hand away. Got to do a job here. We need a better medical team, says Sean Day, who's a Chelsea fan. Liverpool are in for Casido, says Ajit. Where are they getting the bloody money from? Yeah, good cross from Grealish, good finish by Mahrez, but keeper's at fault. Kepa is at fault. Did you see the Chelsea subs? Aubameyang's off, says Roblox. Well, again, you cannot blame Potter for that. Aubameyang was brought in by Tuchel, and it was a risk, and it's not paid off. And again, Aubameyang's a weird player. I mean, I'd ask Arsenal players about that. There was a time where I thought Aubameyang was bloody brilliant, and then, again, just in the words of Ten Hag, he's just lost that 100% focus, hasn't he? The Dele Alli effect. If you're Jude, where to first? Real Madrid or Liverpool, says Liam. Jude Bellingham should come to the Premier League. That's what he should do. I don't want him to go to Liverpool. I'd rather he goes to Real Madrid, but Jude Bellingham should come to the Premier League. Savage says, I still won't understand why they sacked Tuchel after buying his targets. As I understand it, it was absolute chaos at Chelsea under Tuchel. He just didn't like the way it changed under Todd Boehly, and I think he had a few frank conversations with some players as well. He didn't like what was said. It was untenable. And it has disrupted the whole season for Chelsea. I think Jude Bellingham could go to Man City, Sam. I mean, Calvin Phillips hasn't worked out. There's absolutely no way that Pep Guardiola wouldn't want a player like Bellingham. So it could happen. Joe says, you're a bit obsessed with Ten Hag. He's my manager, mate. I'm a Man United fan. Any news on United takeover? I've seen your video earlier, says MUFC. I mean, there's a lot of stuff around Dubai at the moment. We'll have to just wait and see. I reckon United should go for Ziyech if Chelsea sell him in the summer. Nah. Chelsea fans will tell you something else, Axel. Smutty, I don't know why Bayern signed Blind and Ajax let him go for free. It's a funny old game, isn't it, football? Can Chelsea get back into this? Just join now. How's the game been, says Keith Lamb. Thanks for the super chat, Keith. Boring first half, much better second half. Basically, I think it had a draw written all over it. But what's been the difference is injuries that Chelsea have and the squad that Man City have. Man City were able to bring on Mahrez and Grealish, and Chelsea lost Pulisic and Sterling in the first 20 minutes, and they just don't have, they're bringing Aubameyang on and then having to sell him, and that's the story of the game, isn't it? People who don't want Potter as manager at Chelsea will use it as, wood on the fire to say, get rid of him. But, as an outsider and somebody with a brain would look at the game like I have and said exactly the same. Chelsea have actually played well in a game where they would be the underdog. They've played well. They lack a striker. There's nothing new there. And, the injuries before the game made it hard for them. And then during the game have made it even harder. And then what does Pep do? He can bring on, £150 million worth of talent off the bench. Game changers. And you know, it's difficult. Tuchel has been consistently hard to work with. Owners will take it if you're doing well, but when you're playing like they were, it's untenable, says Michael. He'd lost the players as well, Tuchel. He'd lost the players. Mark, Arsenal winning the title or City's third one, says DJ. I hate to say it, but I think Man City will win the league. I'd rather Arsenal win it. Gwydion, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but if United get top four this season, new owners, some big signings in the summer, can really see them back. Good stuff, Gwydion. And Reverse Cloud says, I've noticed an increase in the amount of times that teams play in the league and then in the cup again the same week. Starting to think the rigged draw calls might be true. Yeah, of course, Man City and Chelsea play on Sunday. It's the double header you don't want if you're Potter. Have a stretch, Mark, says Oliver. I will. Thank you. Thanks for the invite. My back says thanks. Bit like Liam Gallagher here. You can tell it's not because I'm wearing a Man United tracksuit. Virtual says, do you think Chelsea will get an equaliser? I think they deserve one. I'm not sure they'll get one. Chelsea's problem is scoring goals. They've spent a lot of money. I mean, that surprised me as well. Let's go back to Chelsea's mistakes. What did they do in the summer? They spent tens of millions of pounds on defenders and didn't buy a striker. They bought Raheem Sterling and Conor Gallagher's putting a few tackles in here. Only now joining, Mark. So sorry if you've already covered, but have you seen Fabrizio talk about Enzo potentially to United? It would be amazing, says Gwydion. I don't know what you're talking about. Who's a better agent, Chopper Moteng or Jermaine Genius? Who's got a better agent? Jermaine Genius's agent is a genius. I mean, how he got him. I mean, what did he present? The World Cup draw or something? Do I think Mahrez is better than Foden, says Nico? I like Mahrez. I mean, Foden's technically a better footballer, but I like Mahrez. I think he's got more of an end product. Why don't I rate Jermaine Genius? Because I will never rate him after the protest that got the Liverpool-Man United game postponed. And I watched Match of the Day that night. And Genius was sat there with Shearer, and he said, I don't understand why Man United fans are protesting to get games called off when the Glazers spend money. And I thought, all right, you're an idiot. You've done absolutely no research, but that's not an excuse. You sat on national TV, on a TV station that is paid for by the public with their licence fee, and you've just spouted verbal diarrhoea. And pulled an opinion right out your arse. And that was it. I was finished with him after that. I thought, you know what? You are on national TV talking shit. Do your job. Do your research. Mark, how much money does Dubai have compared to Qatar and Abu Dhabi? Arturo? I don't know. A lot. Why doesn't Alvarez play for City, says Aditya? Because I think Haaland's become... I was talking about this at half-time. Pep's always been a coach that will change his whole front three. You know, from game to game, it's all about the team and not the individual. But I think with Haaland, he's got a player that he has to pick all the time. And, you know, Haaland's not played well tonight, and you should be bringing Alvarez on, but... he is the focal point of that team. Everything's built around him, so he never comes off, really. Chelsea's injured 10 lineup is better than their current starting one, says Jack. Yeah, you got to feel sorry for him, mate. got to feel sorry for them. Hey says, is Potter already on the hot seat facing getting fired? Even as new owners chose to manage Chelsea, he still has to show enough to remain until the summer. Hey, you're not in the minority. There are some people that are putting pressure onto Potter. You know, I'm sure there'll be certain clowns out there who start doing videos tonight saying Potter out, trying to be edgy, when actually all they're doing is exposing themselves as a complete and utter prat. You know, I've watched the game tonight, and Chelsea have probably been the better team, but they don't have what Man City have got. They can't bring on a Jack Grealish or a Riyad Mahrez. They don't have that depth. They've got a huge injury crisis. Also, Potter inherited a team that's not got a fucking striker. So, you know, you're asking him to work miracles with a team that's had a terrible summer transfer window that he had nothing to do with, wasted a shitload of money on the wrong players. He's had no pre-season to get them playing the way he wants them to play. He's got a huge injury crisis. He's got no real attacking talent that, you know, suit the way he wants to play. And that's why they're losing 1-0 to the best team in England, or at least the title holders. They've lost this game because Pep's got the bench and Potter hasn't. And it's harsh but true. I think Chelsea have played well, but, you know, Sterling went off straight away. Pulisic went off soon afterwards. Aubameyang was like playing with 10 men, and Havertz is a bit like playing with 9. I think the subs from Pep have been good, yes, Daniel. You know, obviously it's easy when you've got those types of players, but I think the two subs he made at half-time were aggressive, and he didn't sit back on that. You know, he got Mahrez and Grealish on pretty early as well, so, you know, he knows the importance of it. Is Aubameyang not a striker, says Joe? Yeah, well, not anymore, he's shit. I don't know why Chelsea did that. Mount's injured, Reece James, Chilwell, Kante, Pulisic now, Sterling, Fofana. The other problem is he can never pick a stable 11, can he? The team changes every bloody game. Do like Zakaria. I wish we got him. He was so cheap, says SK. Well, Calvin Phillips is coming on now for the last 5 minutes. Odd deal that was, wasn't it, really? Yeah, somebody just said there, I don't know if I can see it. Shafiti says, Chelsea sold Werner for Aubameyang. City's bench will win them the league, says Owen. Bob, that's disgusting. I guarantee you, Potter would rather have Werner than Aubameyang. Harry Potter would rather have Werner than Aubameyang. And again, that was Tuchel. A lot of problems that have been inherited by the summer. Recall Lukaku. Well, Casper, it's not a stupid idea, apart from the fact that Lukaku wouldn't want to come. Mitrovic to Chelsea, says Oscar. Fulham would want too much money. Thanks everyone who's tuned in, by the way. We've still got 5 minutes to go. Please do subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. I was really excited then. Thought we had some news about João Felix, but we didn't. Mark, remember when United wanted Piatek? Would you take Moussa Dembele from United this January? Says Zion. Nope. Challenge, say Potter out, same as you said, Arteta out. Also, why don't we sign Tillemans or CDM for cheap instead of loaning João, says Sarvesh? Because we need a forward. I think we're in the market for a midfielder in the summer, but we need a forward now. I do look at Chelsea though, and this is my concern with United, and I'm sure Arsenal have the same concerns as well. You look at how easy it is to pick up a couple of injuries. And I don't think Pulisic has got injured because he went to the World Cup. And I don't think Sterling has got injured because he went to the World Cup. But they have played a lot of football since the start of August. And, well, Pulisic probably hasn't. He's always injured. Zakari has had a good game. He has had a good game. Still a couple of minutes to go. Chelsea deserve something out of it, but you feel that the experience of Man City is going to do the job here. Good play by Hall down that left-hand side. I've heard people waxing lyrical about him, and he's done well since he came on. But there's so many young players for Chelsea here. It's so difficult. It's experience quality against, inexperience really. Hi Mark, is the Frankie de Jong deal dead? Says the cream of the crop. It is at the moment. Do you reckon Ten Hag will play a decent side tomorrow? Check out my preview reverse clouds on the United stand. Yes, I do. But I've got a predicted 11 on there. Do you rate Conor Gallagher? Says Loic. He looked decent at Palace. I think Chelsea's a bit too much of a step up, to be honest, at the moment. Poch or Potter? No good managers available, says Jack Brown. Chelsea got to stick with Potter. You've got to stick with Potter. It'd be ridiculous to sack him. I mean, I'm not saying it wouldn't happen. Football is weird. What was that club that would sack their manager for anything? Watford. So, he could get the sack, but I think it'd be stupid. Who would you say is better, Haaland or Kane, to L2 Gaming? Well, I'd rather have Haaland because he's... so Haaland. Yeah, easy. 10 a.m. tomorrow, yes, Harrison. United stand. Chelsea's 4 minutes added on. Chelsea's problem here is toothless. Out of options. Yeah, Havertz should have been subbed off after an hour. He's your best chance of scoring a goal. Obama was great at Barcelona. Don't know what happened, says MB. And Traore would be a good backup for Anthony, says Justin. Thanks for the super chats tonight. Oh yeah, please do subscribe. I don't know whether we got anywhere near 872k, but you're all very welcome on That's Football. Get involved. Bottom right hand corner. Chelsea on the attack here. Got options. Into Hall. Have a shot, mate. Oh, he's hit it over the bar. Really wanted him to score there. We're only 200 subscribers away from 872,000. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Please subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. We need a forward, but we can't shift Ericsson on 10 and Bruno as makeshift forward, says Savesh. But also, please say Potter, same as Arteta out. I'm not saying Potter out because I like Potter. I liked Arteta though, to be fair. Potter out. Well, we are taking the piss out of the people who say Potter out, aren't we? Statistically, quite an equal game. I feel bad for Chelsea. I'm sure Arsenal do as well. I feel they've deserved something, but it's just the way it's going for them at the moment. They can't catch a break. And Man City, of course, are very, very experienced at winning these types of games. You get the goal, you keep the clean sheet, you get 3 points. Fun says that Zachariah has been great. Well, they've given the man of the match to John Stones, who has had a good game. And that just shows you how you know, Chelsea have had a reasonably good game here. I like the look of this haul. But what an inexperienced Chelsea side this is. I mean, you look at that 11 and you go, what's going on at Chelsea? But that's the sheer problem of the injuries they've got. Let me just go through this Chelsea lineup as it stands at the moment. And, you know, people want to say Potter out. Look at their 11. Kepa, Azpilicueta, Silva, Koulibaly, Hall, Zakaria, Kovacic, Gallagher, Hutchinson, Chukwuemeka and Havertz. It's just threadbare, isn't it? It's their B team, says Alex. Yeah. Their B team against the league champions, and I feel they deserve something out of it. Very unlucky. I hope Potter turns this around and is given the time to do it, because I think he will. I think these circumstances are very harsh and unfair, but, you know, football's not always fair. If City play this shaky and lethargic next week, I fancy United, says Sean. Yeah, you've got to take the positives. I think that United at Old Trafford against this Man City side, you know, they didn't play well against Everton. They've not been particularly good tonight. Well, Chelsea have done a good job on them tonight. Chelsea back four have a combined age of over 100, says Jack Hammer. Yeah, but Jack, you only need 4 players who are 25 to make 100. It's not that bad. Final whistle there. Big win for Manchester City. Big loss for Chelsea. There was always going to be a big loser tonight. I think even a draw would have been a bad result for Man City. So 1-0 to Manchester City. It's definitely job done. It's going to grind the gears of Arsenal fans, I'm sure. You know, I think Chelsea deserved something, but the quality that Man City have and the injuries that Chelsea have got just meant that those substitutions changed the game. And 1-0 is the score, and it's 3 points. It's as simple as that. I feel for Chelsea. I feel for Potter. I hope they give him the time, because it's really difficult to be successful with, you know, inheriting a team with shit signings. You can't make any signings yourself. You've got no forward. You've got loads of injuries. It's tough. But, yeah, 1-0 to Chelsea. 1-0 to Man City. And he's got to play him again on Sunday in the FA Cup. What can I say? Thanks everyone for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe, smash a like, and I'll speak. I think I am going to do Man City Chelsea on Sunday. I think that's the next watch along I'm going to do. So there we go. But FA Cup kicks off tomorrow. I'm live on the United stand for Manchester United against Everton tomorrow night. If you want to watch along there. Take care, everyone. Really enjoyed it. Loving that doing That's Football. So make sure you subscribe and get involved. And I'll speak to you on the next one. Take care.